Hi, so Charlie giving you Monday's market commentary, and I hope you're very well. First things first, we've got this webinar coming up this coming Thursday. So if you go to easytrader.com and then you scroll across, hopefully you can see all of this, to our webinars tab, then it will bring up this page, and you can then see the webinar in order to register for it. So you can then click on there to register for this coming Thursday evening. It starts at 7:15 p.m. That's UK time, 7:15 p.m. UK time, and it's how we intend to trade through 2014. So it's all about Kim's and my tactics as we're going through this year. So setting out our plan for the year, so to speak. So that's that. So that's the webinar. So go to easytrader.com, then go to webinar tab, which is, like I said, sorry, is there in the corner. I don't think I showed it, and then you can then come down and register for that. So okay, right, that's that. Let's have a look at these markets then. Now the whole point of when you're trading is to try and get your analysis right, and as much as possible. Now sometimes you know that you might be right overall on your analysis, but it comes down to your execution, the point at where you're actually going to take a trade may be in a zone where you stand the risk of being stopped out, but do you take the trade anyway, knowing that it may take you a couple of attempts, but those couple of attempts may actually ultimately prove fruitful? And that's what's happened with me last week with Euro, in that I've been in a couple of longs now on the euro dollar. Overall, my analysis is calling for a move back up to retest these highs, but I don't know whether it's going to come from from down here or where we are currently, or it could want to come down to that daily 200 yet. So but when it sets up, then I'll take the trade, because my risk to reward on the trade will be good whatever happens. So I will continue to look for opportunities on the euro dollar at some stage. So it's one thing you have to look at with your own trading, is your analysis and the risk of missing out on a trade. If your risk to reward is only 1-to-1, then you may have a different sort of viewpoint on it, because there's no point trying to take lots of trades just to take one trade where you get 1-to-1 risk to reward on it, because you're going to be losing money. But if your risk to reward is 5-to-1 or 10-to-1, then you've got the ability to give it a few attempts, with knowing that at some point, if your analysis continues to be right and you believe in your analysis, then at one point it will go for you, and that will more than make up for any of the losses you've had. So worthwhile considering that. Now, looking at the euro dollar then, yeah, it's just on the wind down at the moment. I'm just going to check it off screen and see what it looks like on e-signal with regards to that daily 200. Yeah, that's still down in the low. Yeah, it's exactly the same level actually on e-signal, so that's fine. So I'm just patiently waiting at the moment to see whether what's going to happen with this euro dollar. But at some point, it may be in a month's time, or it may be in a week's time, maybe in a couple of days' time, I'll be looking at another attempt on a euro dollar long, which I'm happy with, because I know that lots of people are bearish on the euro dollar, so that's good. Right, okay, so that's what makes the market. It's just it's opinion and having a view, and then trading that view in a way that you're not going to, if you are wrong, that you're not going to bet the farm and lose crazy amounts. And so that's the whole point of being a good trader. A good trader can manage the risks, the risk on the downside trades, so that when the upside trades come along, then they can more than compensate. So at the moment, euro, I do see the potential for it to come lower, but at some point I will be looking to get long. But at the moment, it's the potential is there to come down to this daily 200 and test that, but we shall see about that. But ultimately, I'm looking for euro to come back up to re-challenge those highs. Right, now the pound. The interesting thing with the pound is, from a daily chart, I don't have too much to say about it, because it's fairly choppy. Now, but having said that, sometimes if you're struggling with one time frame, then go out to your higher time frames, because sometimes that can just give you a better perspective. And at the moment, if we go out to the monthly chart here of the pound, it's had a great run, but there is more potential in it to come up to 170. So at the moment, I can look at the daily chart saying I'm really not entirely sure here where it wants to go to. but at least ultimately I know what it might be up to. So if it was to start breaking higher and breaking up to 166, we've got to be looking, as long as there's no divergences up there, then we'll be looking at long side plays to take us up towards that 170 handle. Let's have a look at the yen. Now the dollar yen, again, a bit indecisive there on the daily charts at the moment. It's had a nice bounce off the daily 50, and now it just is trying to make up its mind what it wants to do. I would rather see the yen actually roll over here. I think if we come up to the monthly chart, it's had a tremendous run, and it's still not tested the lower bands here on the monthly chart or even the monthly 21. Now I'm not trying to go counter trend, I'm just saying that I think that it's into effectively a double top here still, and the potential is there for it to roll over, but just as easily it could want to, sorry, it's back to a monthly chart. It could want to, if I scroll, oh no, it won't allow me to scroll out, but it could want to go up to 110. There's on the monthly chart there's a monthly 200, but it's not showing it on telecharts, up at I think it was 107 something, 107, 108, from what I remember. Actually, why don't I just look at it off screen? That's a good idea, isn't it? So bear with me a second, I'll have a look at it off screen. Bring up the monthly chart. Yeah, 107.20 odd is the monthly 200. So if it does come higher, so if we go back to the daily charts, if it does start to break up higher, then we know that we've got that 107 zone as a target. If it rolls over though, then we know we've got the lower bands on the, and then a decent run down potentially if it was to roll over here. So we just need a little bit more confirmation there on the yen, but it is, again, these markets are quite interesting at the moment in which way do they want to go. So yen, again, we could see 107. If we see that, then I'd see that as a major resistance sort of zone. It is a monthly 200, so it could overshoot the 107 and go to 110 before stopping, but at least I know that it's in a monthly resistance zone at that stage. Or if it pulls back now, then I'll be looking for the pullback to come down to the lower bands and maybe a little bit lower if it wanted to come down to that monthly 21, with the view of then it coming back up to hit that monthly 200 at some point. So that monthly 200 will ultimately be a target at some stage or other. Right, that's pretty much it for now. There's not really much to say about the stock market indices, so I'll leave those alone. So I shall leave that with you back on Friday.